All right. We've done the demon crimes here. Let's do the demon crimes here. So let's set the waypoint there. And then we're underway, and these aren't very complicated, so I can talk to people and hang out and so on and so forth, and we'll be fine. Alright, that's what we'll do. That's what we were looking for, right there.
Demons are out of control, terrorizing the whole city. There are easier ways to make money, guys. Less socially destructive, too.
Well, you don't even have to try on this mode. Like, it is outrageously different from what I fucking played.
Demons seem to be gearing up for something big.
Okay. Yeah, that is shockingly easy compared to what I dealt with. I kept telling people the game is unbalanced, and it's like, it's freaking way harder than I thought it was supposed to be. And then some of the people I were having arguments with was like, oh no, this game is super easy, and shit, you play on these easier difficulties than it is. It's way easy. It's almost criminally simple. That's the reason nobody else had the same problems I was having. And I remember when I talked to Scott about it too, like, he was very much like, oh, this game's amazing, and blah, 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 and I haven't had those problems, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I remember asking him that day, I remember it happened on the show, I said, what the fuck difficulty are you playing on? And he was like, easy? And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but I didn't realize just how different my game was than his, because it's different. It's unbelievably different.
Nothing like an RPG to wake you up.
Let's use these. Bazap. Nope. Kick. Kick. Come down here. Come down here. Get out of my face. Wow. Like, it's so ridiculously easy. This game on the harder difficulties is extraordinary. Like, it is very different to play this on a harder difficulty. Oh well. And I mean, I guess it should be. Because, like, my daughter, she beat this on easy. And then she went up to the next difficulty and she beat it. And she had troubles with it. It did get tough for her, but there's a difference there. She's, you know, when she's frickin' 7 at the time, it was understandable that the game for her was difficult.
Real talk, guys. The Destroy New York shtick is getting old.
Bad guy? Oh shit. Other bad guy? Wow. Just wow. Like I'm just standing here. Wow, the difficulty on easy is it's easy. It's so unreasonably easy. We just missed a Jameson broadcast. We can't be having that. We need the Jameson in our lives. Let's go get that broadcast that we just got.
Bring your children into the room, friends, because I'm delivering a lesson impressionable youngsters need to hear. My guest today is a man who learned the hard way that dressing up like Spider-Man isn't cool. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I wanted to fight crime and help people, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so I put on a costume like his and tried to do what he does. Boy, was that a mistake. I almost got killed. I'm just lucky the real Spider-Man saved me.
Let me stop you right there because I think the salient point has been made. Emulate Spider-Man in any way, and you will die. Don't do it, kids. And that's another one of Uncle Jono's life lessons. Garrett, trademark that.
Wow, and you will die. You know, what's crazy about this game, though, is that when I stop and I listen to some of these Jameson podcasts, I know they're trying to do him like he's, oh, who the fuck is that dude? I'm trying to remember. He's, I know who they're trying to emulate him as. Is it Alex Jones? But regardless, for as much as they're going after that concept and trying to make him like Alex Jones or whatever, which, I dislike that guy a lot. But like,
There are easier ways to make money, guys.
Jameson tends to be right about a lot of things if you're not hero worshipping. Okay, I guess I'll actually try. Where's the spidery bomb thing? There we go. Oh, he was just done. I was punching at nobody.
Demons seem to be gearing up
Let's
for something
put
big.
these on. Nope, 4 of 5. Okay, so we're still... Let's go here and see if we can find our last crime in this area. I don't have the Discord link currently that I could post on here. I'm not by my phone or my computer, really. I'm just kind of sitting out in my living room. But, I mean, where would you be able to get it? Because, I mean, if you, like, direct message me or whatever on, my DMs are always open on Twitter. And also, you can always get a hold of me, like, through Facebook or whatever, and...
Aw, all this for little old me?
Are they over there? What's going on here? Oh, they're above me. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, fuck you, and you, and you. Web. Oh, fuck. I was watching that guy fall off the building. I wasn't watching. Not that it matters. Like I said, easy mode is so outrageously easy, I'm not even paying attention. And I'm not even close to dying. Far and away from dying. Throw that. Okay, that part's done. What about this part of the city? Here, we'll go find some crimes here in this part of the city. Why'd you end up on a different account or whatever?
This shipyard is on the south side. Gotta remember to check it out.
Yeah, we'll check out the yard after a while. Right now I'm just doing mindless stuff. In fact, let's change our suit power. Nah, you know what? We'll keep it, I guess. It's not like I'm doing much with a suit power regardless of what I do right now anyway. Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, okay. I guess I'm finishing my 100% now because I'm doing the New Game Plus run through. But I maxed every single gadget on my first playthrough. I maxed every single costume. Bought everything that you could buy on my first run through. Did all the DLC. Bought every DLC costume that you could do on your first playthrough. Like, this game, I beat this game 100%. The only thing I didn't get was the Platinum Trophy, because after I beat it, I whooped its ass so thoroughly that I didn't know about, like, going back through it to do New Game Plus right off the bat. I'm watching this little kid run around outside, and I'm hoping... I know that sounds fucking weird. But that was not my intention. No, there's only so many kids around my neighborhood. So I'm seeing this kid, and I just got new neighbors. And he seems about Gwen's age, maybe a little bit younger. He's running around in the front yard right now. And if he's in my front yard, he's either the kid of one of the people that's helping my new neighbors move in, or he's their kid. And if he's their kid, that is awesome. Because that would mean that Gwen has somebody else to play with. Web!
Demons are down. I'll let you take it from...
Okay, let's go back up here. We're looking for 5 of these.
Here,
There's
officers.
one of them.
They're down. Bad mojo, officer. Real bad.
I don't know who the fuck you're talking to, Spider-Man. We left them already. But yeah, like I said, I got every costume and everything. I'm just playing now. What happened on the Sentai review? Are you talking about the episode that went out most recently? Because if you are, a lot happened on the Sentai review. It was a very rough episode. Like, in a lot of ways that I wasn't too happy about.
All available units, there is an armored car robbery in progress. Additional officers needed at Carnegie Hall. Please copy.
I'm just hitting square. Like, the easy difficulty on this game is outrageous. Wow.
Why do the demons need that much cash?
There was a lot that went into that bad one. A lot. Like, Seth hadn't had a chance to do his Hangout streams, which are normally like tonight. Like, he usually does them Tuesdays, and I think he sometimes does them on Thursdays as well. But, he hadn't had a chance to do his, and that's part of how he kind of cools down and gets his mind together from his week of work. And then, so he hadn't done that, so he was kind of pissed. And then Shane was injured. He suffers from a back injury, and that back injury is pretty much, it's never going away. He's going to have it for the rest of his damn life. And I guess he did something happened to him, and he got hurt at work, which kind of re-triggered it. So he was unhappy, he was pissed. We're gonna land on this train, yeah, come on, yeah! I don't know why, but I love the fact that that just happened.
Fire on police. Available officer.
Oh, there it is. We'll go do this one. And then, Scott was kind of disconnected, in all honesty, and I never know exactly why Scott has one problem or another. He doesn't really talk to me like that, so... But he was kind of pissed and disconnected, and then... I don't know, man. It was just one issue after another. And that piled up to become a really tense, difficult episode. Like, I don't know for sure. I can't speak for him, but Nick is getting kind of burnt out. He's not a Kamen Rider fan, and it's the only thing we've been doing is Kamen Rider, so that didn't do him a lot. And it was like, see, so that's what I try to get across to people, is that episode seemed like it was rough because of the episode, but the truth of the matter is that episode had a lot of things going for it, that it just wasn't going to be a great episode. We could have had some of the greatest material ever to work with, and the fact that Shane showed up late, which had some people irritated, myself. I'm not above that. I'll be real with you. I was mad that by now, after we've done this for as long as we've done it, for as many years as we've done it, and he was the one that picked the time. He was the one that said, from now on, we will broadcast at 10 a.m. That'll be our thing. And so I figured that, you know, the guy that set the time would be definitely the guy that made the time. But I didn't realize that he was injured either. So, like, you know, all with a grain of salt or whatever, there's no way I would have been mad had he said something like, dude, I'm fucked up, you know, I'm not gonna make it, or something like that. That would have been fine. But I didn't get that. We never do. That just simply doesn't happen
Nothing like an RPG to wake you up.
when it comes to Shane. He just kind of he has poor communication skills.
That was a workout.
So you never know exactly what's going on, and then that sucks because, like I said, I would have never been pissed if I'd have known that he was fucking injured. Dude, take a day off. Like, if you can't make it, take care of yourself, you know? But I didn't know, so I was irritated. So then when he showed up, we didn't exactly do him any favors because he was in a bad mood from being wounded. And here we were like, fucking Shane. Like, yeah, there was a lot going on that day that kind of bled into it. And it's not just that. It's a lot of things. Like, it's a lot of things. It really is, because we had to sit down and we had to really talk after that episode. And I know, like we got something to eat and we sat down for a while and we let the whole day pass and it never stopped. It was like that attitude proceeded through the entire night. And because it did, we got to talking a couple days later, where I got on the network.
Calling all units.
Because we have a private network that we use for like meetings and whatnot.
Please proceed to Spanish Harlem. Over.
And I used it, and I was like, okay, guys. I was like, what is going on? And we got to talking, and I think, in all honesty,
What's a hard time? Were you not loved enough to Demon Baby?
we're suffering a problem that hits a lot of shows. It's almost like a burnout. And we're hoping to avoid that. We changed a little bit of the format. Not that the show's going to change at all. Don't misunderstand that. But we're going to change. We're going to go back to a system that we used to use that prevented burnout for a long time. Because years ago, back when we were Reploid Productions, we had a mass show burnout. Every single person on the show just got tired of doing the show. Because, like, it is a job. Regardless of what people think, there's a lot that goes into it, both before and after the show, and constant, where we're always buying equipment and shit like that, and trying to fix things that go wrong, and like plan the next episode, and get folders, and download things, and all of us work full-time as well. So we work full-time, and then we do essentially a part-time job on top of that. And the last time, and we do it for free. We're not monetized. We don't get any money. Like, I think people sometimes think we're a bigger channel than we are, because we're really not. We're freaking hardcore small time.
Additional officers near Sycamore.
Wonder what Fisk is hiding in his shipyard. Literally didn't see that coming.
Wow. Go punch these guys now.
Think that's it. Everyone okay?
Okay, we're done with that. Now we're going to go across to here, and there's none. So we don't have to worry about that. There's probably 5 crimes here. So there's 5 crimes here, so we'll go across the way and start finishing out that part of the map. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and we've had this problem before, back when we were Reploid Productions. So I got to talking with the guys, and I told them, if we're experiencing a full show burnout again, we have to attend to this. We have to figure out what's wrong, and we have to address it now, because if it happens to us again, we're not going to recover from it. It'll be the end of the show forever. It really will. There's no doubt about it. We know this. Because, see, years ago, when we were still Reploid Production, we suffered a massive full show burnout. And we took an entire year off the show. And it was rough. after losing an entire year off the show, we came back. And I thought that we'd come back and we were just fine. But we weren't. The burnout was fucking real. We did about 4 or 5 episodes, and then we fell off for almost an entire other year. It was like 7-8 months. And then we kind of reformatted and started the podcast stuff that we do, which took a lot of the work off and made it a lot easier to do. Like, a lot easier to do. And that's what kept us active, and that podcast format that we use is what has kept the show going now for the better part of a frickin' decade. So it's in our best interest to keep the show running, and we have a way to do it. Oh, we're going to listen to Jay.
So after a police officer called me out on social media for being too hard on Spider-Man, and it went viral and people just wouldn't shut up about it, I agreed to a debate. Officer, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, so me and my guys went in a shootout with some desperate characters who had nothing to lose. I mean, they didn't care if we all lived or died. And somebody would have, trust me, if Spider-Man hadn't helped us.
All right, fair enough. I'm not saying he never does anything good. I'm saying he causes more problems than he solves. You had to go to the academy, right? Be thoroughly trained? You have rules to follow?
Sure, but he seems to know what he's doing, too.
It worked out for the best this time. Next time, how do we know Spider-Man won't cause the deaths of all concerned?
Well, he never has before, has he?
I believe we'll just have to agree to disagree. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
Yeah, see, okay, that's what I mean about JJ in this game. They're playing him off like fucking Alex Jones or whatever. And first off, fuck that guy with a pole. But what's interesting about JJ is while they're playing him off in this way, he very much makes real points that I can get behind if you're not playing the hero worship game, because a lot of people do that. They get into this hero worshipping idea where Spider-Man is just the good guy, so we just agree with him, but there is something to be said for that. Spider-Man is a vigilante, and Jonah is right when he says, you went to the academy, you do paperwork, you have been trusted with this job, and should you fuck up the job or do something wrong, you are held accountable to that situation. He's not. He's a loose cannon that can do whatever, whenever, however he wants, and it could very well kill somebody. Now, we know, and then there's the argument to be made that, yeah, even though Jonah has no actual evidence to this, you could make the argument that Spider-Man causes a good deal of problems. Like, in this universe, and it's not true all the time, but yeah, like, there are an awful lot of supervillains, and this is because of the nature of comic books, that show up just because Spider-Man is a thing. Like, he accidentally, indirectly creates a lot of his own enemies. Not all the time. And there are definitely situations where if Spider-Man hadn't existed, we'd be in some real shit in terms of their universe and everything. But yeah, like, I like when Jonah has legitimate points, not when he's just like a raving clown. I'd rather him to be an actual character, a human being who acts the way he does and has the distaste he has for a legitimate reason.
10:30 on an armored car. Suspects are masked. Backup needed in Bloomingdale.
There are easier ways to make money, guys. Less socially destructive, too.
Whoa!
the demons need that much cash?
They're out of his control. Okay, so I make an argument to you. Just because you want to do this, just because you want to have this argument, so I want you to think critically and think real. I'll play the J. Jonah Jameson role here for a second. They're out of his control. In this game, if Parker had actually shown up and done his job as Peter Parker, not as Spider-Man, as Peter fucking Parker, would the octopus have happened? Would Dr. Octopus have been a thing if Parker was actually at the lab, helping, controlling the situation, and doing his job, instead of showing up late all the time, stressing the doctor out, and causing the very circumstances that helped to formulate the Dr. Octopus problem? Because I argue that while Norman Osborn is a huge part of the scenario that plays out here, Parker, just by being legitimately present, could have stopped at least 80, if not 90% of the entire issue, and stopped Dr. Octopus from ever becoming a thing in this universe at all. In this one, in this universe. Maybe not in some of the other ones, but in this universe specifically, I honestly believe that his presence could have stopped the entire situation. And also, there's other characters that simply wouldn't exist, like Matt Gargan. He'd have just been some shitty guy with a gun that some cop would have ended up killing someday. Legitimately. Because he'd have had a shootout with somebody or something like that, and he'd have just got killed for being what he was. But instead, he's the Scorpion. Now, let's put this also on J. Jonah Jameson's shoulders, because the fucking douchebag created him by funding the situation, yes. Because he wanted to create an anti-Spider-Man hero, basically. So Jameson has fucking problems, there's no doubt about it.
1034, officers are under fire.
Oh, we found another one? Yes, we did.
Sonja, over.
And in
That shootout's gonna get someone killed.
in other scenarios, the normal storyline, he's also kind of responsible for the creation of Mysterio, if I'm not mistaken. Because he was on the film set where Mysterio fucked up his the scene or whatever. If I remember right, I think this was in the cartoon universe, to be fair. If I remember right, in the cartoon universe, for like the 90s show,
Think that's it.
they were
Everyone
filming
okay?
something and Spider-Man showed up, and one of the bombs that went off was too big, and he ends up catching Mysterio, and then a bunch of other shit plays out. I remember him being primarily responsible for putting Mysterio in jail. And here's the thing about that. Mysterio would have went to jail either way. They would have done investigation onto the movie set to figure out why the explosions happened the way they did, and if he would have been found at fault, the movie studio wasn't exactly going to take the fall for that fuck. So his ass would have went to prison, and he would have went to prison or jail or fine or whatever ends up happening through normal circumstances. He wouldn't have been apprehended by a swinging showboat vigilante. And then his revenge would have been a very different scenario, if he even came to revenge at all. Just saying. And then Batman's the same. I think it's a comic book thing, personally, is the comic books, in order to stay interesting, they have to play with the aspect of they have to play with escalation in comic books to keep things interesting. They have to constantly say, oh, the next situation has to be big, and like characters like Peter Parker, consequence is a big part of what that character is. So it's important that he cause the situation so that they be somehow directly tied to him, his family, his friends, whatever. It's that idealism that makes it so that in a comic book world, you're always kind of the one responsible for all the villains showing up and shit like that. And then Batman ends up falling into those categories too, but it really comes down to a comic book problem, is that that's how they tell stories. Is there a guy left? There's a guy left. Music is playing. Oh, there you are. Really? You're just gonna stand over there? Off the building. Up, I will be right back, people.
Definitely not loving the demons are targeting me now thing.
Hey, I'm back. There we go. I'm back. Now you guys should be able to hear me and whatnot. I just got a phone call. Today the truck screwed up again. Seems like this one is going to be an exhaust problem, and I think I'm just done with the truck. I think I'm just going to buy a new truck. Which, it's kind of long overdue at this point, in all honesty, so... I've been in the same truck for near a decade now. And I'm at that point where it's gonna start nickel and diming me to death, so, so I'm done with... I think I'm done with it, so... I got some calls and whatnot that came in. That's why I cut the mic for a second, because people are telling me some dealerships to check out, and well, I think one of the big problems that hits with a lot of... Okay, because, like, look, here's what's interesting about about comic books that happens a lot is after a while they want this kind of shared huge thing, and they want to build this continuity, and they want you to be a part of the continuity, and they want you to get that continuity fast. They really don't have time to explain that continuity to you. They want you to know it. And there is a legitimate reason why they want you to know it the way they want you to know it. Because they only have so long to get a story across, especially the way comics are done today. So they want to get the shit out there, and they want you to say, oh, okay, well, he's Peter Parker, and responsibility is a big part of this, and this is his love interest, and oh no, his love interest, her best friend or whatever, is the bad guy, and if Parker would have only done so-and-so, like, they do that shit on purpose, so they can get you in and build continuity, and when they don't do it, we end up in an entirely different situation. Take for instance, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oftentimes, what ends up happening with them, and this is kind of weird, they don't go looking for trouble. Now, I'm referencing the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Keep that in mind what I'm about to say. The original Ninja Turtles, what happened with the Turtles most often, in fact, almost all the time, was that the Turtles would be hanging out on a rooftop, doing literally nothing, and then somebody would attack them. They go looking for one fight, the original Shredder, and they literally kill him in the first book. He's dead. They literally throw a bow staff into his teeth as he was unclipping a white phosphorus grenade, and he falls off the building and explodes. He's dead as shit.
Stay safe.
Then they just start having troubles. Like, Baxter Stockman is crazy and he makes the Mausers, and they come after Splinter. And that's like a situation they had nothing to do with. It just kind of happened to them. And then other situations that take place along the same lines in the original Ninja Turtles, like the Shredder gets injured and he wakes the Splinter gets injured and he wakes up in a laboratory under the care of the Umtrons, and then because of that, you get stuck with all the Triceratons and all the other shit that happens, like, and then the Time Lord shit that took place around the same time, where the Time Lords had their items stolen, their Time Lord equipment stolen, and like the Turtles, are they up there? Yeah, the Turtles just kind of end up in this situation where they just kind of get screwed and they have to deal with it. Well, because of that, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all their continuity, all the stuff that you tend to care about, all the creational ideas in terms of story, for years, that was very much regulated to be just the Turtles. Like, the brothers and the way that the brothers reacted was the only story that they really had going, and then everything else was just kind of happening. If you go that route, you avoid the situation, so your heroes are heroes. They're usually not involved, like when there's a kidnapping situation, and they're just up on the building, and they're hiding, and they're hanging out, and they see the kidnap situation go down, and then that leads them into a big fight with basically a mafia boss, and all this other stuff, because they don't ignore it, they're heroes. They want to do right, but they're also not out looking for supervillains, you get the idea. Later on, that became a problem where there were very little identification marks to the Turtles, and if you just got into the TMNT, you didn't know really where to go with it. Like, if you were new to comic books, it was really tough on you, because this was not formatted like other comics.
Masked suspects are attacking an armored car. Any officers
and
in combat, please respond.
So that's the reason comics do that shit, where they tie everything together and they make everything consequence, because it's easy and it kind of gets you in, and it plays the soap opera angle. Case in point, most recently, holy shit, remember like all the CW stuff that's really popular right now? That's what it does. Everybody's like, interlinked, and everybody's like a friend of a friend, and then that situation goes down, and it gives them storylines to play off of. Because they're like, oh, my mom's a bad guy, and shit like that. Like, all of that shit plays to an aspect of storytelling that allows them to get people in and keep people in. Like, my wife, you know, she got into comic book stuff through things like the CW. She's not really into comic books, she's into that shit. And so when everything's tied together like that, it's very quick and easy to get people on board and make people say, oh my god! Because like in the first episode of Arrow, after they introduced the Arrow and everything, and you figure out that the mom is the whole reason that the boat went down, now my wife is on board. She's like, what? Her own son? Well, that did its trick. It did its trick immediately. It's not that it's bad storytelling, it's that it's become a trope of comic books, and it creates that little question that we just got done asking. Do these heroes cause problems simply by existing? And in all honesty, they do, because that's the way the stories have been chosen to be written, and usually 80% of the time, the hero's inactivity or something of the sort ends up leading to the problem. And that's the reason supervillains and whatnot exist. I mean, hell, look at the MCU right now, and look at all the villains that Tony Stark is responsible for. It's ridiculous how often Tony Stark is the reason for the villain. Not even in his own movies. Tony Stark is responsible for the villain, the Vulture. In the SpiderMan movie, Tony Stark indirectly created that villain. He indirectly or directly, in whatever cases, or his family, in whatever term you want to put it to, is directly responsible for the villains that show up in all three of his movies. He's responsible for the villain of the Avengers movie, like Ultron. That's him. Like, Tony Stark creates more problems than he fixes. If Tony Stark would have become dead during the very first movie, if he just would have died, you could make the argument, oh, well, they wouldn't have created the Avengers, but they would have, because it wasn't him that really created the Avengers. So we still would have got the Avengers, but we would have got half the villains. Because a lot of those villains would have never shown up, or if they did, they would have shown up in an extraordinarily different capacity, because they wouldn't have Tony Stark.
Officers, pull your wounded back. I'll handle this.
Web! Alright, let's go around the truck. That was weird.
Everyone
okay, whatever. Let's see.
Fight like men possessed. Stay safe out there, officer. There's more where these came from.
No, but yeah, I get it. That's exactly right. Now, I will say, like, I read things like, I read Red Sonja, and Red Sonja is very seldom attached to an enemy that she runs into. But Red Sonja tells very different stories because of what she is. Red Sonja is a sellsword, and just in case whoever's here doesn't know what that is, the Red Sonja being a sellsword is essentially a mercenary. She takes jobs. She has a moral compass as to how those jobs play out, so there's certain things that she won't do, but she takes jobs. And because of that, they could tell these big stories where they have like political intrigue and everything, but she kind of gets caught in the middle of a lot of her crap, and then you get kind of a third person perspective of the situation. And I do tend to like that quite a bit, because what they end up having to do in Red Sonja books is they don't focus on the hero half the time. They focus on the bad guys before she gets involved. So they'll sometimes do an entire comic for Red Sonja where the only thing that she really does is appear in the background for like 1 or 2 scenes. And the whole time what we're actually looking at in terms of the movie, or not the movie, you get the idea. In terms of the scenario, Red Sonja will take a back seat in her own comic so that we could set up villains and intrigue and political situations or whatever kind of dogma they have to create. And that's super interesting because they don't overutilize Sonja even in her own book, where primarily, normally, the person you follow in a superhero comic is the superhero, be it Wolverine, be it Spider-Man, be it Captain America, be it Batman. So it's interesting that in the Red Sonja books, they'll sometimes do entire books, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time, where they're following the other, in one of her last runs, she wandered into a community, her old town basically, her old lands, and there was already a war that was about to take place. And because the current king didn't want to die, when she wandered in, he made it like a big succession ceremony that she was like the chosen one or whatever, and he made her the queen, and then he dipped out, and she got stuck fighting this war for the survival of an entire frickin' country, basically. And that was really cool, because she had to deal with situations that, 1, were out of her element, and 2, there was a massive story in place where they would leave her behind, and they would go to the other country, and they would tell stories with other characters, and independently craft this gigantic narrative. And that to me is very interesting. But it does hurt Red Sonja books, because she's not connected to people in a way that the normal comic book readers are interested in. They like connection. Normal comic book readers like to be able to say, oh, well, this is this situation and this is this situation, and they like that. I wouldn't necessarily use the term that they get off on it, but they do. Like, oftentimes you'll find that like somebody that really knows the continuity of a comic book likes that opportunity to kind of chill it out with somebody and be like, oh yeah, this situation and this guy, but back then so-and-so and this continuity. They love to do that shit. And with Red Sonja, sometimes a character will show up and then they won't show back up for like two or 3, if not 4 years. They won't show up in the comics. Like, everybody knows the Joker. You go to a Red Sonja comic, you don't know those bad guys. Like, and then half the time the bad guys that show up, she kills them. Like, so they don't often reuse a whole lot unless you're talking about something like Colin Gath. Like, Colin Gath, I've never heard his name said out loud. It's either Colin Gath or Colin Gath. But I know but he's basically an immortal wizard. And he'll show up more often than most anybody else. And not that there aren't regulars, but if I was to go into the regulars, they won't seem regular to a lot of comic book fans in the way that you perceive regulars. Like, it feels like the Joker shows up once a week. He does not. There's an entire year that'll go by sometimes where we never see a Joker appearance even once, but that's not what it feels like, because the Joker is a villain that is utilized so often that you feel like you know him intimately. Hell, they can't stay away from him in the movies. And for that matter, why would they stay away from him in the movies? They know he's usable. If you do a series, you do it with the Joker. And if you do a comic, you do it with the Joker. And if you do a anything, you do it with the Joker. But then if you look at somebody like Red Sonja, that's not true for her books. It's not true at all. You do a Red Sonja comic or movie, you just kind of make up a bad guy. So it's just comic book nature. And if you do try to step away from it, you may find yourself in a situation where your comic book doesn't do very well because, you know, there are expected tropes.
Nothing like an RPG to wake you up.
Oh my. You know, my web dissolves after 3 hours. Like, won't that person, like, die? Like, that guy's fine, but that guy's hanging on the building right here.
Way too high strung.
Yeah, you're gonna die. Because I'm just gonna leave, and I don't know what the rescue squad is. I mean, I guess maybe he dials his cell phone and says, hey, I got guys up here, but yeah, that guy's dead as shit. Oh, you can ask any question. That's the reason I've been doing these hangout streams. Which I think I'm going to start deleting. I don't think they have any real reason to stay on my channel. They're just me hanging out and talking and answering fan questions and... Plus, I follow Rick of Review Tech USA, and oftentimes I like one of the things that he does in terms of his streams. His streams are very much for, like, his regulars. They show up and they hang out and they go through the stream, and then, like, at the end of the stream, he just kind of deletes it. So they're very much like a thing for his regulars. Can I change my suit power now? I can? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Because we're just going to go back to this because it's super simple and yeah.
Okay, now I'm just showing off.
And that is specifically why we switched to that power, because now I almost don't even have to try.
Demons are after some serious financing.
Ben Sharp interview. No, I don't think I have. Is there a reason you're wanting me to see it? Because no, I personally have not seen it. But I imagine there's something you want me to see in it, if you're asking. Oh, no, 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 no. No, I think you may have misunderstood me or something. I don't remember... I never thought that... I've never thought that Wild Force was social justice warriors. My question was... Back when I first heard about the show, and I was like, okay... In fact, I think I wanted to know if it was like a super eco show... or whatever, like a big public service announcement, save the freaking trees kind of thing. Not that we shouldn't be paying attention to how much damage we are actually doing by deforestation, but, you get that's where my big question was with that, is it a more conscious show? Because Power Rangers doesn't like to ask questions, really. It doesn't. It likes to... And if it does ask questions, it usually asks very simple, like black and white, good guy, bad guy type of narrative. It doesn't like to go too much further than that.
Okay, kids. You can't play nice. You lose your armor-piercing toys.
Rude! Who shot me with a missile? Butthole.
Demons aren't slowing down. What are they trying to accomplish?
Okay, so you're wanting to tell me her point of view on the situation, then? Does that interview explain her point of view on the situation? Because I'm very much of the mindset that... Because I've jumped on the bandwagon before, okay? I have. And I'm very much an opinionated person, but I am not above, even for 1 second, telling you I could very easily be wrong about situations, and I've noticed that oftentimes, like especially today, it can easily be a situation now where whoa! You get a web. You get a web. Is that everybody? You get a web. And you get a web. There, we're done here. But like I was gonna say, it's oftentimes that if I jump on the bandwagon, especially with the way we're in this, not just cancel culture, but I'll say a finger-pointing culture, it's too often that these people get fingers pointed at them or situations created that they were not actually... Nothing was ever proven, we'll say that. Like all the sexual abuse claims and whatnot that are happening. I'm not saying that not all of them. There are ones that definitely happen, and I'm glad to see some of these people outed. But there are some people that it's bullshit. Like nothing is ever proven and their entire life is torn down. Like there was a huge YouTuber not way too long ago that got absolutely screwed because they tried to make it look like he was a fucking child predator. And luckily he kept those emails, because otherwise he would have been fucked.
Never touches the ground.
Because nobody asks questions, they just believe. So when I hear, especially when I hear like, when I see like a information or something that says, oh, this person texted these things, if I can't see the texts, all I have to go on is the angriness of the people that are accusing. And I saw 3 tweets by her. 3. And I really don't think that they were fireable offenses. And maybe I'm just not... Maybe I'm not as sensitive as some other people or something. I don't know, but like I did not see them as fireable offenses. Now I did see that what she said, it could have offended some people. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's fine. And if so, then I guess, to be fair, I'm sorry. But the 3 tweets that I got to see, they did not seem that serious. They did not seem like a drop from Disney and all future projects kind of situation. It seemed like she was making historical reference
1034. Demons have
and asking questions more than she was supporting Nazis.
Please copy.
But I don't know. I don't know if I have all the information. So if that interview goes into her side of the story, I would be interested. But then I would also say keep an open mind that oftentimes we like to demonize the companies and say things like, oh, the company this or the company that, and sometimes we don't get to see the whole situation at play that the company got to see, so maybe, like, that's basically what I'm saying is this could be a very complicated situation, and until we have 4 or 5 stories, we won't know what really completely went down. Because now I'm hearing that some of the people said to her
Fisk was a maniac.
that I'm hearing some people told her that what she was doing was going to get her fired, and that she needed to watch what she was doing.
Tear the city down.
And she basically gave them a finger and said, I don't fucking give a shit. This is the way I feel or the way I think, and blah, blah, blah. And while I guess it's fine to, you know, to stand up for your beliefs and to back the things that you decide that you believe in, maybe if you're on The Mandalorian, and maybe if you're paid by a huge company to not appeal to people's shitty opinions, don't misunderstand me. Like, I'm not telling you that, you know, if you work for Disney, you should agree with, you know, horrible fucking practices. But let's look at something about a company for real quick. The company's mission is to make that money. And we may not like it, but shitty people also have money.
Oh,
like,
boy.
it's a thing.
They got rockets.
Shitty people have money. Like, just as much, if not more money, than decent people. And something that I'm sure that you've had time to learn in your lives is that those shitty people, they will spend that money, and the corporations want that money. So, if I was doing The Mandalorian, and I wanted shitty people's money just as much as I wanted good people's money, maybe I do tell her to shut up. Maybe there's some things that, while she's under my employ, she's not allowed to say. And that's a true situation for me, too. Like, where I work, there are some things that, quite frankly, in all reality, I cannot say. Like, there are things that if I said or if I did, I would be fucking fired. Hands down. Without question. But there's so much complication with all this.
Got it, boss. Tripling security. Demons won't touch a thing. Listen up! Demons are making moves on all our caches. Lost 2 tonight already. Boss may be in lockup. That don't mean his hardware's up for grabs.
Com check, Eagle 2, you up?
Eagle 2 reporting in. Eyes on. What caches are the demons after? Need to take out Fisk's men and figure out what they're guarding. Whatever it is, I don't want it in Fisk's or the demons' hands. Snipers everywhere. Might need to deal with them first.
Keep this place secure until the boss gets out. I saw something. There he is. Open fire. No. Get away.
Whew, this is a different monster on easy. I remember this mission was so hard. Because if you screwed up, they would just kill you. And here, I didn't even have to worry. I just purposely ran right over here.
Back away from it.
I'm just gonna go up here and... Hey there, guy! I'm just gonna climb around here and I'm gonna get you. Wow, that's sad. Man, Easy is such a different game. Oh, fudge you, guy. Pop. Pop. Oh, that guy's knocked out, I guess. Yeah, that's nice. Punch. Kick. Nope. Wow, this is easy. Wow. I can't even begin to tell you how much of an ass whooping I got the first time I played through this. But I played it on a fairly hard difficulty when I first started the game.
You know we can't have vigilantes trespassing or doing illegal searches.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why I brought a warrant. So what do you say we do some perfectly legal searching?
I like the sound of that. What's your name?
Officer Davis. Call me Jeff. And you are? Just messing with you. My son's a big fan.
So, that warrant cover breaking down doors?
Not without a
Wow.
lot of extra paperwork.
Okay. We'll find another way in. Any place this rundown should have a hole in the wall or a broken window.
Check around back. I'd go myself, but you know, not Spider-Man.
Is that a thing? You're not Spider-Man? Whoop.
I feel like I'm in a horror movie. Hello? Any fisherman with a grudge and a hook for a hand? Okay, where's that locked door? Jeff, you there? I'm doing my best to refrain from knock-knock jokes.
Appreciate it. You see a junction box powering the door?
Yeah, got it.
If we can overload it, that should force the door open.
I've been working on electric webbing. This is the perfect field test. Sit tight. Electric web for the win.
A gadget man, huh? You remind me of my son. Started taking apart the TV when he was 5. Now he's unlocking his friends' phones.
Sounds like he could teach me a few things.
Started taking apart the TV when he was 5.
Illegal in plain sight.
I can't imagine the parent
Kinda
was
anticlimactic,
excited about that.
At first glance. Let's look closer.
Looking for something specific?
This yard's been here a long time. Bootleggers used to use it back in the day.
Gotcha. Those guys love their hidden rooms.
Check it out. Sound hollow to you? I got a hidden panel, like the one on the door. The conduits lead out the back. Look for another junction box.
Let's see if my mask lenses can pick up the conduits. Did that work?
Nah. Must not be the right box. Keep looking.
There we go. Oh, Seth just got on. I wonder if he's about to hit up the
I
stream.
would have found it without you.
Is it about 7? I think that's when he that's when he gets on and does a stream.
Got a big fat nut.
Wonder what he's gonna
Well,
do
there's one
tonight.
secret room. There could be more. Notice anything about the floor?
They can hide the doors, but not the scrapes they leave.
Keep an eye out for more of those.
Whoop.
Now that I know I'm after scrapes, I should take another look around.
See if he answers my question. I just asked him what he's going to play tonight.
Where else could there be scrapes? Found a scrape. Oh, I guess normal doors don't count, huh?
Good guess. Any luck?
Pay dirt. Scrape, no door. None I can see anyway.
Great. Be right there. Maybe not. Elevator's busted.
Sit tight. I'll pull you up.
Stupid. No! Listen here.
I could use a little help with the elevator.
Right, I'm on it. Second floor, rusted machine parts, big honkin' rats. Careful, the bridge is out.
I got this one.
You got this one.
Nice, stuck the landing and everything.
We're not all donators.
That's bullshit.
Fair enough.
I'm Spider-Man and I can't make that jump normal. No way. He ran about as fast as my jog, and this is my normal X, and I couldn't make the jump he just made. Ugh! He's full of shit. Full of shit. Fucking Spider-Man, I can't make that jump.
You were after Fisk for a
Now,
long
if I'm running and I have my spider power stuff, he does it. That's bullshit.
If I were a junction box, where would I be?
Follow the conduits. They should lead you in the right direction.
Nailed it!
Hell yeah, you did.
Okay, open this thing up. Did he answer me?
Hey, check this out.
Nothing. I'm starting to feel like this is Fisk's way of messing with me.
But look at the walls.
I'd jump in on his stream if I knew what he was going to play.
They wouldn't have moved them to the front door. Gotta be a passageway we're missing. Check out the wall. This might control access to another area.
Fisk's men were talking about a vault. Maybe we're close.
Bet on it. Looks like a dual circuit. See if you can find a second junction box.
Find a second junction box. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Places to hide a junction box.
Oh no! Now I gotta make this go up like I did the other thing.
Found it. Clear. You were right, Jeff. Trapdoor.
Outstanding. Think you can help me out? This thing's heavy.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, you could jump higher than my normal spiderness, but sure.
1, 2, 3.
Well, that isn't spooky at all.
Probably an old bootlegger's tunnel.
And it looks like no one's cleaned it since Al Capone.
Big chunk of concrete in the way. I can't get through.
Let me see how it looks from the top. Got room to maneuver here. Hang on.
Spider-Man.
What was that?
Subway, maybe. Let's hustle. Place is unstable.
Okay, that definitely wasn't a subway.
No. Sounded like explosives.
Get up on the
That sounds like
ceiling.
demons.
The vault! Hurry!
Na 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 na.
Come on, let's go!
I like how I didn't know what to do there, but luckily it waited for me to know what I was doing and it just killed me.
Demons are already gone. How'd they beat us here?
Must be a back door. See if you can find it. This place is one hell of an armory. Or was.
Whoop. Oh,
They
what's
didn't
that?
want the non-lethal stuff. They passed up smoke grenades, flashbangs. Got empty crates here. And it looks like they took the ones they
Oh.
didn't clean out.
Let's see what he's playing. I don't know that I know this game.
Smash and grab. They were moving fast. There's a fenced-off room here they didn't bother with.
Too much effort to break in when you can just peel back the wire mesh over this gun rack.
There. They blew the locks to get in. Shh. Demons.
I'm probably switch over to his stream here in a bit.
And some of these. They're moving. Let's go. Get him!
I might watch it tomorrow on the CW. I don't know yet. In fact, I might not watch it for a week or so, because now I gotta go out car shopping tomorrow, because of my truck.
That's what I'm talking about!
Just trying to do my part.
Firing! Stay clear!
Wow. I like how I'm going out of my way to not try, because on easy, it is literally so outrageously easy. Like... And I'm interested to see what they do with a Superman series today.
How we doing?
I think we're winning! Fine! I got your back!
Thanks, I needed that.
Wow. It's too easy.
Stop!
Damn!
You okay?
Go! I'll catch up!
Oh, shit.
If I lose 2 trucks full of gunmen in one day, it's time to hang up the webs.
I like how it's not letting me, like...
SpiderMan! Few demon stragglers at the yard! I'm held up! How you looking?
Not much better. These guys are all over the road.
Bullshit, I would have caught them twice now if you would have let me do it like we always do with cars.
Stay safe, Jeff. Don't do anything crazy.
Just let me hit triangle and we would already be done with this. Like, I've literally been on top of the truck twice. But it's like, we want you to dodge things, and right now the game is too easy and I'm too lazy to actually care, so... Okay, I'll dodge stuff, game. Go ahead, shoot at me.
This keeps up, bystanders will get shot.
Now I'm allowed.
Hey guys, room for one more?
Bye to that guy. Bye to this guy. Bye to this guy. Okay, let's look at the game that Seth is playing. Damn!
Oh, great. Now the
douche!
We've now identified the officer as Jefferson Davis. We're being told he has minor injuries and is expected to make a full recovery.
Excuse me, miss. Are you supposed to be here?
More than you. After that auction house thing, the Bugle put me on the city beat, which means I get to focus full-time on real stories like this. And the demons.
You know the closer you get to them, the more you become a target, right?
The closer I get, the better chance we have to stop them.
We?
Officer Davis, Mary Jane Watson, Daily Bugle.
No comment.
I don't blame you. But these guys are gonna tell their story with or without you, and they thrive on controversy.
So what's your angle?
I don't have one. I just listen.
Okay. Up in.
She's good.
Huh.
Man, I'm beat. Time to head home and get some sleep.
You don't has a home to sleep anymore. Darksiders 2. Is that one of the games that we got for free on the, I want to say that game was free not way too long ago on the PlayStation Plus or whatever. Yep. Okay, let's listen to Jonah.
Spider-Man should let the police handle crime at least 6 times a day, and that's on my day off. And for once, that is exactly what happened. When Officer Jefferson Davis stopped a truck full of armed criminals from mowing down innocent bystanders. What about Spider-Man, you ask? Where was the city's self-styled champion? Oh, he's the one who started this chase, right out of an 80s action movie. But it took a real hero to finish it. Thank God Officer Davis was on the scene, and that he saved all those lives in spite of Spider-Man's interference. Jefferson Davis, you have earned the coveted J. Jonah Jameson nod of respect. I just nodded.
Okay, so let's say for a minute, let's play devil's advocate here with J. Jonah Jameson, and let's take his side. Spider-Man decided, when he found a bunch of demons loading up weapons, that he was just gonna rush them, fight them comic book style, and then they did get away from him, and they took off down the road on the truck, okay? It was very exciting, we all had a great day, and next week we'll go to the zoo, okay? Well, let's just argue for a second. What if Spider-Man, you know, being a photographer and literally having a camera on him, was to take a picture of the license plate, because he looked right at those guys as they were loading the truck, and the truck was not loaded yet, which means that they were still loading stuff up, and you have the entire New York Police Department because you literally have a cop right there with you, alright? What if Spider-Man had done the cop thing, and instead of endangering a bunch of civilians at that junction, he could have taken a picture of the plate and then called the police via his cop buddy. His cop buddy could have then set up a sting operation to wait for the truck to stop moving naturally, where it would have just went through the city without shooting, without running, without blowing shit up, without the very exciting literal 1980s chase that he claims, because it kind of was. And then, at whatever warehouse or junction point they decided to drop the equipment off, cops could have shown up by the 20-30 vehicles after tailing it for so long, secretly, by air or whatever else you have to do to keep an eye on it. cop-wise, it could have actually been handled better, and it would not have put so many people in danger. Because you gotta wonder, all those missiles that missed me while I was dodging and it was really cool, they did hit buildings. And if you're just a New York resident in your apartment watching fucking Seinfeld, and all of a sudden the side of your room explodes, Spider-Man does start that chase. Literally. So Jameson, again, in a weird way, there is evidence to argue that Jameson is right. The cops could have handled the situation better than what he did. Because he didn't ask that cop that was literally right there if it was okay to just run up there. He just said, shush, shush, hold on, and then he ran up the staircase. And the cop followed him into what became a gigantic, exciting situation. Yeah. Yeah, there's room to argue. Huh. Oh. Holy shit. I am probably gonna go see what Seth's stream is doing. Primarily because this is really his time to be streaming, not necessarily my time to be streaming. I'm not gonna do that to him. And because I'm not gonna compete with Seth in his stream. For one, that's shitty to do. And for two, I actually do need to start getting some of my paperwork together so I can do my stuff that I have to do tomorrow. So I'm going to switch over to his stream and see what he's doing, and so I will catch everybody here later.